Now on News Channel 8 at 6.
The bodies found yesterday are those of Lyric Cook and Elizabeth Collins.
2 missing Evansdale cousins found dead. A county park closed for days as investigators search for clues. Tonight, teammate coverage of what police and the community are doing to find answers. Her own son disappeared 30 years ago. Tonight, Noreen Gosh gives her insight into what the grieving parents are going through, what she says should be done now. Battling a fire in a burning house sent him plunging through the floor into the basement. What this firefighter credits for his escape. News Channel 8 in HD starts right now.
It has been nearly 5 months since Elizabeth Collins and Lyric Cook Morrissey disappeared while riding their bicycles in Evansdale.
Just 2 hours ago, authorities said that they are confident now the bodies that were discovered yesterday 20 miles northeast of Evansdale are the 2 missing girls. Investigators spent the day combing the Seven Bridges wildlife area for clues as the town of Evansdale comes to grips with the terrible news. We have teammate coverage, and we begin with News Channel 8's Patrick Bell, live via News Star 8 in Evansdale with the latest on the investigation. Patrick.
Yeah, Kevin and Stacy, now that local, state, and federal investigators believe the bodies found yesterday are those of Lyric Cook and Elizabeth Collins, the focus shifts a bit. Now detectives want to find out exactly, from a medical standpoint, what caused those girls' deaths and, perhaps more importantly, who's responsible. Now, as you mentioned, you're taking a look, actually, of the Seven Bridges Conservation Area near Redland. For reference, that's in Bremer County, about 20 miles northeast of Evansdale, where Lyric and Elizabeth's abandoned bicycles were found this summer. Now, right now, teams of forensic experts, including sheriff's deputies, state investigators, and FBI agents, are on scene, thoroughly searching for any evidence in hopes of not just identifying a suspect, but remember, they're also gathering evidence for an eventual criminal trial. And speaking of a crime, I did ask authorities about the status of this investigation and whether or not it's now officially a double homicide. Take a listen.
I would say that we are looking that way at this time. We have 2 bodies, but we're going to rely on the state medical examiner to tell us what they think.
And forensics teams will be searching that conservation area at least until Monday, which gives you a really good idea of how thorough that search will be. And although positive identification has not yet been made, Laura Nichols, folks here are really kind of coming to the realization that Lyric and Elizabeth won't likely be coming home.
That's right. For 5 months, everyone here in Evansdale has held out hope that the girls were still alive, perhaps being held captive somewhere, and that they would eventually come home. Well, today that hope was shattered. In fact, everyone here is devastated. We got a chance to talk to a lot of people today. Even strangers who didn't even know the girls cried and teared up at even the mention of their names. Now, the shift has focused from finding them to now finding justice for them.
Investigators spent all of Thursday meticulously combing the Seven Bridges County Park for evidence and clues to how 2 bodies ended up here. 20 miles away in Evansdale, members of the community did their best to deal with the horrific news.
We are praying and keeping them in our thoughts.
It's a horrible thing. I mean, I can't imagine somebody who would do something like that to little kids. I mean, it's obvious somebody did something.
Close friends of the Collins family say they have no idea who could have done this.
Maybe it is someone that the girls knew. In any effect, it's just scary to think that a monster came into our town and plucked 2 little girls out of their summer vacation and they would never return home. And you know, there's been nothing solid to lead us to the perpetrator, and we have a whole new fight now.
It's been 5 months of agony for this community. Pink ribbons, signs, and posters have covered every inch of Evansdale since July 13th, the day Elizabeth Collins and Lyric Cook vanished while riding bikes around Myers Lake.
I trust that law enforcement will do their job. They've worked tirelessly on this and done the best that they could so far, and I trust that they'll continue that and won't stop until we all have answers.
Now, there is a $150,000 reward for an arrest and conviction in this case. Authorities want you to come forward if you have any information at all. You can call the Evansdale Police Department and also Crime Stoppers. Now, I want to mention right now, there is a memorial going on behind us. You can see this Christmas tree here. We mentioned it earlier. It has a sign saying, "Decorate the tree for Lyric and Elizabeth." Family, friends, people have come out here wearing pink to put an ornament on the tree in memory of those girls. that will be going on until 8 o'clock. They plan to have a prayer at 7, so we'll bring you coverage of that later on tonight. Back to you, Kevin and Stacy.
Laura Nichols and Patrick Bell reporting live tonight from Evansdale.
So, where do investigations like these go now? Tonight on First News at 5, we asked former Des Moines Police Chief Bill Mulder about what investigators will be looking for as they search through that Seven Bridges wildlife area.
They'll begin to be able to bring in the resources of profiling, because there will be information associated with the means and the manner of death that will be indicative of what went on. There's a high probability of trace evidence.
Former Chief Mulder also says that kidnapping two girls at the same time is difficult, so it's very possible that if the girls are found to have been kidnapped and murdered, they may have known their abductor.
And this story hit home with a lot of parents, but especially one mom who told Eric Hansen it rekindled her nightmarish past.
Stacey, Noreen Gosh's son Johnny was kidnapped 30 years ago this fall, but this has been more than just another missing children's case to her. It's personal, and she says lawmakers need to act this January.
It's just like a thud in your heart.
Noreen Gosh felt it Wednesday when the news broke. Since last summer,
It is very, very difficult for me to watch another family go through this, the agony.
the mom whose son Johnny was abducted 30 years ago has become a resource for the Evansdale families.
Just shoulder to lean on. She's been there, so she knows what it's like.
But as weeks turned to months, Noreen became less optimistic.
We now know the sad part is they're not going to ever come home.
And this news, she says, is at least a resolution.
Yes, it's a terrible heartache to get through when it is your child and they are found dead. But one has to weigh, if they were already dead, would you rather know and bring them home and give them the respect of bringing them home? Or would you rather go 30 years and not know for certain?
But this news does more.
Parents who have children who are kidnapped relive it.
To say it makes Noreen mad is an understatement.
Why did somebody do this to our baby? Who does this? What goes through my mind is what those little ones experienced. The torture, the whatever they were put through is the unthinkable.
Which is why the mom who successfully pushed for plenty of missing children's laws plans to push hard for another this year. The death penalty for cases like this that hit her so close to home.
I will work with anybody who wants to step forward and let's do this. We've had enough of our children taken. No more.
Noreen's already been working with the Evansdale families on the so-called cousins law that would change Iowa's Amber Alert rules. So she says she wants just something good somewhere to possibly come from such an awful case.
Yeah, truly awful. Eric, Johnny Gosh's story is going to be getting some national attention soon, right?
Yeah, actually, just a little while from now, a week from Sunday, MSNBC will air a new hour-long program in prime time called Maximum Drama. Noreen's been working with them for 2 years on this show. It will focus on the 30 years since Johnny disappeared. That's Sunday the 16th at 8 o'clock on MSNBC.
Okay, Eric, thank you.
Now, while the search for Elizabeth and Lyric appears to be over, questions of how they died are far from being answered. Police still are asking for anyone who has any information in the case to give them a call at either 319-232-6682 or email to ourmissingiowagirls@dps.state.ia.us. There is a $150,000 reward being offered in the case.
In other news tonight, an Ankeny man convicted of murdering his infant daughter wants a new trial. Back in October, a judge found Ryan Trowbridge guilty of killing 4-month-old Riley. Trowbridge claims his daughter was fatally injured when she became stuck between a mattress and headboard. His sentencing was supposed to happen this morning. A hearing on his motion for a new trial and sentencing have been rescheduled for December 11th.
And breaking news now as 3 people escape a house fire in Des Moines this afternoon. It broke out at this home on Norton Avenue about 4:30. 2 adults and a child were inside at the time of the fire. They were able to get out okay, but when firefighters first arrived at the home, witnesses said that they thought someone was still inside.
They did a quick search before they started the fire attack. Didn't find anybody. They were able to put the fire down pretty quick.
Now, firefighters believe it started in a pan of grease left on a stove. They estimate damage at about $40,000.
Some bad project economy news for Boone tonight. A longtime Boone trucking company is going out of business at the end of the week. A manager at Madden Limited confirmed to KCCI that employees have been notified the freight, shipping, and trucking company will close its doors for Good Friday. He said the company has fewer than 80 employees, a mix of drivers, mechanics, and office staff. He said Madden is a victim of the bad economy. The company has been in business since 1960.
The gradual cool down continues. Temperatures in the 50s today.
And 40s tomorrow as we continue to go downhill toward the weekend. A little bit of light rain out there. Still a bit of it mainly in southern Iowa. You can see that on our Viper radar display. Gradually pushing off to the east. Another band of light rain now moving into the northwestern counties of the state. Overnight tonight, we'll see temperatures falling into the low 30s, but that will be after the rain moves through, so shouldn't have any slick roadways to mess with. And then tomorrow, sunshine returns and highs in the mid-40s.
Thank you very much, John. Well, the first of those Cy-Hawk basketball battles takes place tonight.
And what coaches Lisa Bluter and Bill Fennelly are saying about tonight's game.
A Norwalk house fire causes a floor to collapse, taking down a firefighter with it. I'm Shayna Humphreys. Coming up, he tells us what it was like to feel the ground disappear beneath him.
This is KCCI News Channel 8 at 6 in HD with Kevin Cooney, Stacy Horst, Chief Meteorologist John McLaughlin, and Sports Director Andy Garman. We're proud to be Iowa's news leader.
I just started grabbing for anything I could, and everything that I grabbed a hold of went with me through the hole.
A small fire in an abandoned home could have changed one firefighter's life forever. The assistant chief of the Norwalk Fire Department is doing better today after a terrifying fall earlier this week.
Today, he told News Channel 8's Shayna Humphreys just how it felt to have the floor collapse beneath him. Shayna?
Well, when the firefighters first arrived to that old house in rural Norwalk, they saw very little smoke, and they even said to one another that it would be a really quick and easy job.
Instinct and adrenaline. That's all he had left to rely on when the floor was literally pulled out from beneath him.
There was no warning. Was standing on a carpeted surface, and there was no indication that there was any compromise to the floor. And then it just gave way underneath me, and the next thing I know, I was falling through the hole.
He tried to grab hold of anything near him, but everything just came crashing down.
Very, very heavy smoke conditions in the basement. I couldn't see my partner 3 feet from me when we heard a loud crash. Couldn't figure out what it was.
I was just hoping that somebody was there to find me.
And when instinct and adrenaline weren't enough, his brother showed up to pick up the pieces.
My partner and I looked at each other and said, "What was that?" I don't know, but it didn't sound very good.
They answered his call for help and sprung into action, quickly getting everyone else out of danger.
We can't predict a lot of things. Our conditions change. We don't know where we're going, those type of things. So that's where the training is critical.
Coburn says he and his brothers do a lot of training for things that will likely never happen.
The one time that it did, it worked out well, and it doesn't always in those situations. So I feel very lucky and very fortunate.
He spent some time in the hospital, but walked away with only minor injuries.
I'm bruised and banged up, but I'll make a full recovery.
And when he does, he's going right back where he belongs.
It is a dangerous profession, but each job comes with risk, and I've always wanted to be a firefighter, and I still want to be a firefighter, and it's the most rewarding job and the best job in the world, and I'll look forward to coming to work every day.
Now, they think the floor's poor integrity caused the collapse, and that could be the result of no one living there, poor maintenance, or even wood-eating insects.
We heard him say he looks forward to getting back to work. Is he back at work yet?
No, not quite, even though he looks like he could be. He has about another week to be at home.
All right, thanks, Shayna. Meanwhile, the Adair County fire investigators are looking into a cause of a blaze that destroyed a building at Rose Acres. The building, which ordinarily houses 120,000 chickens, was empty at the time. No one was hurt. The cause of the fire is still not known.
Got up into the 50s today, but really didn't feel like it because there was no sun.
Yeah, cloudy, some drizzle, even a few spots picking up some measurable rain. Cooling temperatures, though, will be with us as we head into the weekend.
Now from Storm Team 8, your most accurate meteorologist, using the latest technology to keep you ahead of the storm. And the only live Doppler radar, live Super Doppler HD.
Welcome back, everyone. It's the holiday season, and nothing says Christmas like Winnie the Pooh. This is at 63rd and Pleasant as you head down 63rd off I-235. Right now behind me, the Brenton Skating Plaza. A little better news for them, colder temperatures on the way, so we won't have slush as they've had lately. 46 degrees, northwest winds. Early morning down into the low 30s. Tomorrow will warm again, but not quite as nicely as today. Mid to upper 40s. A little bit of rain still visible. Live Super Doppler HD across the southeastern section of the state and up to the north. Some extremely light rain, more so drizzle. Zoom in for you. Oskaloosa picking up a little bit of a shower, just kind of drizzly light rain. Albia, Moravia down toward Centerville. Here in the metro, it's been dry for the most part. We've had some mist or drizzle, but not enough to actually register in the rain gauge. Around central Iowa, though, a few spots did pick up measurable rain. Nevada 700s, Colo 600s, but for the most part, it was just barely enough to kind of wet the ground out there. Temperature-wise now, we're in the upper 30s to the north to the lower to mid 40s in central Iowa. Cloud cover has kept the temperature from moving too much as that rain continues to push steadily to the east. Watching out to the west, there are some breaks in the cloud cover now. That'll move in later tonight and tomorrow. And we'll have a couple of decent days before a much different scenario late Saturday into Sunday. High pressure tonight, that'll feed easterly winds into the state, and that will result in a cool day tomorrow. There will be some light snow showers across Minnesota, some of those perhaps getting into the far northern sections of the state, but it really appears to be very light if it does happen. For tonight, cloud cover across the region. There'll be that weak disturbance up north, maybe clipping a little bit of light snow in the far northern counties. But as far as significant snow, it really looks like this next system coming in Saturday night and Sunday, which had at least the potential for some snow in central Iowa, appears to be kind of breaking into two sections. We'll have one to the north, and again, this is kind of the freezing line if you look at the longer range predictions that we've been showing you lately. So across northern Wisconsin, maybe up into northeastern Minnesota, some heavier snow. Maybe very light here in central Iowa. We'll have to see how it pans out, but lately it's been kind of a lessening the significance of this event here in Iowa for Saturday night and Sunday. We'll promise though colder temperatures on the way. 32 tonight with the rain showers pushing out. During the day tomorrow, mid-40s, partly cloudy, and a northeasterly wind. Temperatures will continue to cool down over the next couple of days. Again, that wintry mix possible late Saturday into Sunday here in Iowa. Those temperatures are going to be right around the freezing point, so could go back and forth. And then Sunday, wind and very cold. By Sunday afternoon, we're going to have a very strong northerly wind pushing chilly air into the state. Look at the low temperature early Monday morning, 16 degrees, and then just 20s on Monday. We're going to improve that a little bit, but it will take several days with midweek temperatures finally getting back into the 40s. This is a very strong push of cold air. Fortunately, it looks like not coming with much snow here in Iowa.
All right, John, thank you.
Coming up tonight on News Channel 8 at 10, Patrick Bell will be back with us to show us how Evansdale is coming together to remember Lyric Cook and Elizabeth Collins as law enforcement continues its investigation into how the two cousins died.
Tony Seaman joins us now with sports and the Cy-Hawk Showdown about an hour away.
All the anticipation, all the build-up, it's come to this. Cy-Hawk Showdown, 7:30 tonight in Iowa City. We're talking about the rivalry coming up next.
Sports Director Andy Garman, Scott Reister, Tony Seaman, KCCI Sports, Iowa's sports leader.
In just over an hour, the Cy-Hawk series will be underway in Iowa City. The women hit the court tonight at 7:30. A lot of factors heading into tonight's game, but one of the biggest could be the home court advantage. History has proven in the Cy-Hawk series the team wearing the home jersey is usually the team that wins. It was definitely the case last year. The Cyclones came away with a 62-54 win at home and are hoping to buck that trend tonight in Iowa City.
It's a very tough place to play, which it should be. You know, when you play at home in basketball, it needs to be tough. And this series has been one that I hope it changes, but it's been one lately that the home team has won and won fairly easily. 2 years ago we went over there and we embarrassed ourselves.
I don't take any comfort in it. I wish I did. But do I love playing at home? Absolutely. You know, we love playing in Carver Hawkeye Arena. It's a great place to play. Our fans are wonderful. And I think that's what has helped so much in this home court is that both teams have really good fan support.
60 minutes away, Cyclones, Hawkeyes in Iowa City. Game time is at 7:30. You can see it on the Big Ten Network. We'll, of course, have highlights coming up at 10. Women are going to start things off. Then it's the men's turn. Tomorrow night, Carver Hawkeye will host more Cy-Hawk hoops. This game could turn into an absolute shootout. Both Iowa and Iowa State take pride in speed and their transition game, which means fans can expect to see a lot of buckets tomorrow night.
works. I think that the way the two of us like to play with our systems, we really like to get the ball up and down the floor and play an exciting style of basketball. And it's great for the state. I think it'll be a fun game. I think both teams are playing solid basketball right now. And whoever wins this game, it'll be a big win once for the resume.
This team has a lot of weapons. It's rare that you find a team with this kind of athletic power that shoots it that well. You just don't see that combination a lot.
Tip-off is tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Speaking of home court advantage, the UNI Panthers men's team knows how to use it better than anyone right now. Their latest victim in the McLeod Center was the Northern Colorado Bears last night. UNI racked up a season-high 21 assists and made 12 three-pointers in the contest. The win moves the Panthers to 5-3 on the year, but they've now won 10 straight at home. 76-59 was the final. Carver Hawkeye Arena already in action today with non-conference wrestling. Iowa was hosting Lehigh. This one just wrapped up. The Hawkeyes breezed to a dual win of 26-9. That's your final. The Hawkeyes are now 7-0.
Today's market report is sponsored by Wells Fargo Advisors.
Temperatures tomorrow in the 40s. Light rain will be ending here in 3 or 4 hours.
Thank you, John. Thank you for being with us. Updates at 10.